Working on Sundays is one of the worst things that you can ever do in your life. And in today's video, I'm going to explain you why this is the case. Why I built two companies that generate me millions of dollars a year. And the reason why taking off on Sunday has helped me generate $1 million ideas that I could put into execution to generate the results that I have so far. And I'll explain you the importance of it. But if you don't listen to this video and you just take off on a random Sunday without taking this one thing into account, you will lose a lot of time. Now, before you take Sundays off, you need to now be in a situation where you are grinding on your work. You're working for 6-7 days out of the week, 16 hours a day, 10 to 16 hours a day. If that is not your current situation, you will never understand why taking off on Sundays is important. Now, I'm very glad that I happily replaced my addiction with business. And prior to business, this addiction was playing video games. And I was, as you can probably relate, playing video games for 12 hours a day, 16 hours a day, every single day without taking a single day off. And you start to feel that your brain is gonna get fried. You do it, but you're in such a state where you can't focus. You're kind of like a zombie, right? At a certain point. Now, that reflects and happens into business. The moment you grind on your business every single day without taking a single minute off, your brain cannot function. It's like a plane getting into the air without fuel. That's not a possibility. A plane can fly for 15 hours. And when you have a bigger plane, it can fly for 30 hours, right? The most important thing straight is it needs fuel. It needs fuel to keep going. Now, when you are that addicted to your current business or hobby, you can do nothing else than just that. It's just like me. And the reason I'm making these videos is because I've experienced the exact same thing, and I have found one solution that is extremely important, that saved my life, that got me these $1 million ideas for my consulting company as well as my software company. All the ideas are generated on a Sunday. And the reason why this is extremely important is when you are going to take off on a Sunday, your brain has time to relax and reflect. You get inputs, external and internal, every single day, every single moment. You have people to manage, you have content to create, you have your family to deal with. You need to cook food, you need to go to the gym, you need to do so many different things on a daily basis. And when your brain doesn't get the proper chance to actually observe the information and reflect on that information internally, you will never be able to make the fastest progress possible because you're constantly trying to roll in circles, not knowing what next action to take. That is where procrastination comes from. That is where ideas stop generating, only when you never stop working. When I started Take Off on Sundays, I was so excited to get back to work on Monday because I just knew what to do. The biggest thing that prevents people from hitting their goals is clarity. Your brain can never think about these ideas when you don't give it time to relax, when you don't give it time to digest. If you're constantly eating, right? It's like fasting. When you're constantly eating, you never give your brain the power, or you never give your body the power to relax. Meaning if you eat right before you go to sleep, you sleep way worse than if you eat, let's say at 6 p.m., you go to bed at 12 a.m. Your body has 6 hours to actually digest. So when you go to sleep, your body isn't processing anything. It can just relax and go to sleep and focus on actually bringing your brain to peace, to fall asleep. And you sleep way better, right? Now, that is what happens exactly on these Sundays. I took Sundays off and I started to generate ideas I never ever fucking figured out in my life. I started to put puzzle pieces together that made my business grow so extremely fast. And the whole picture, the whole puzzle, not just for next week, not just for next month, but for a decade, just started to fit in constantly. So every Sunday, I'm taking the time to make that puzzle a little bit bigger and to add more pieces to the puzzle. And the only thing I do from Monday to Saturday, 16 hours a day, that's fine. I focus on executing, on actually creating these pieces. right? Because a business or life without execution is nothing, right? If you don't execute, you're not going to achieve anything in life. But I needed that moment to reflect, to actually put these puzzles, these pieces in the right place to make it actually like a valuable puzzle. And that has absolutely changed my life. And it's like the most fun part about this topic is like, yeah, Nick, you're just talking, like whatever, I don't really care. Obviously. But the reason why is because you're either not in the situation where you're addicted to your work, which is the first step. When you're broke, the only thing that you want is a lot more money. And the moment you have it is the moment you make realizations. You cannot make that realization when you're poor. That's impossible. So the reason I'm telling you this is because it's something I've been struggling with because of my addiction. When I'm addicted to something, I go all in. I can be stopped. It's physically impossible. You can ask all my clients, you can ask all my team members. We have a team of 20, 25 people right now with the 2 companies. I can be stopped, right? So I was living with them in one house, and the moment they went to bed, I was grinding. The moment we wake up, I was grinding. I was operating on 4 to 5 hours a day of sleep, which is okay in certain phases of your life. But the moment I took my Sundays off is the moment I generated the greatest ideas, and that's where the most exponential growth came from. Because you know what it is? This is the thing. You realize what's actually important. 99% of the people, what you're doing right now is you're solving the wrong problem. That's the point. You think you're solving the right problem, but you're solving the wrong problem. And solving that wrong problem gets you further away from solving the right problem. And these Sundays make you reflect on what's actually important. You can put everything from a drone perspective to look at it as a big map. And then realize like, okay, cool. Okay, I'm doing that there, doing this here, doing that there. So you know the actual matter of what's important to do on a daily basis. So when you get back to work on Monday, you execute on the right things in your company, in your life, within your whatever that you do. And that is something that is crucial. You start to uncover the things that are actual problems and you start to create visibility on these things. And then when you have visibility on what the actual problem is, you can form action steps around it to take it into reality. And that is something that absolutely ridiculously changed my productivity, as well as something that made me realize you can grow so much faster when you give your brain that fuel. And this has absolutely changed my life. I made a 180-degree turn by implementing this. So everybody that is currently in a situation where you're grinding, right? You're in grind mode. You are working for 70, 80 hours minimum every single day. Take Sundays off.